Hey guys, this is Africa Archield coming to you live today for Tech30. This is our first episode and I'm super excited. We're going to be here live every Thursday from 2 to 2:30 Central Standard Time in the US. So today we're going to talk about webinars and I'm going to go through this pretty quickly. So I know I'm not going to get through everything that has to do with webinars, but I did get this really interesting question in one of the groups I belong to. A girl was asking about all the different webinar options. She was trying to figure out, I'm going to be moving from doing teleseminars to doing webinars. And first, if it was even a good idea to do so, and if it was, which option should she choose? And I really want to address that today in that order because it's just that important. All right, so the first part of her question was, should I move from doing teleseminars to doing webinars? Okay, so just so that you know, and we're on the same page, a teleseminar is when you call in. So it just allows someone to pick up their phone, their cell phone, dial a number and get on a conference call with you, and you can deliver information, whether it's a presentation or maybe you're delivering a class, whatever it is, it can be done by phone. So in that case, maybe there's no visuals. You're just literally talking to people. And it also allows in a teleseminar for interaction. So if you have a good conference calling service, and I recommend freeconferencing.com, people can dial in, they can press a series of keys, usually like *2 or *6, whatever, and they come up in your queue and you can unmute them and have conversation with them right there, real time. So much fun. Okay, so that is one way that can happen for you. Okay, so I know sometimes people say, but if I do a webinar, if I do a teleseminar, then people can't see me or they can't see my visuals. And that's true and not true. There's some ways around that. In the past, in the distant past, when I did teleseminars, I would send people like essentially my slides and tell them to advance the slide or turn the page if it was a PDF, okay? So you could do that too. A webinar, on the other hand, is something like what we're doing right now in this Google Hangout. You're seeing me live. I'm streaming this. If I wanted to, I could bring up a slide presentation instead of you looking at me. I can share my screen and show you different things, all as I'm presenting, whether, like I said, it's a class or some kind of sales presentation. So all of those that's kind of basically the difference. You're getting the audio and visual effect when you do a webinar. When you're doing a teleseminar, it's usually just audio, though there are some workarounds to deliver visuals as well. So my first question back to her was, who's your audience and what do they respond to? You see, that is really telling about, should you move from doing a teleseminar to doing a webinar? Will your audience like it? Because that's what matters. It's not necessarily about you, it's about them, right? So if you have an audience who's kind of freaked out with technology or might have a hard time clicking here and there and having stuff downloaded, they had to have stuff downloaded on their computer, and that's just like, too much, stick with teleseminars, especially if you can still deliver what you need to deliver in that way, which is why I mentioned some workarounds of people might need some visuals. But if you have an audience that's pretty, even somewhat tech savvy, if they can navigate okay around a Facebook or any other social media channel, they could probably handle a webinar pretty well. And again, it only makes sense if there's something that you are doing that needs that visual aspect, okay? That's when a webinar really makes sense. All right, so if you're doing that webinar, now we're at the second part of it, which service should you choose? Wow, there are a lot of services, and probably more than even I know about to do webinars. So I'm just going to go through a few of them. I'm just going to kind of briefly talk about a couple of them. And then I'll get to one that I absolutely love and one that I haven't tested yet, but I own. So there you go. All right. So I think when I first got online, the one that well, actually I own two now. Okay. When I first got online, the main one that I saw was GoToWebinar. And I want to say it's like the granddaddy of all of these kinds of webinar softwares. I have never personally been the back end of GoToWebinar to tell you, oh, it's like this or like that. What I do know about it is the cost can be pretty intense on a monthly basis. There are free trials, or there's usually a free trial of GoToWebinar that you can use. The big thing is you're going to have to remember to hit record. There's other things that have to be set up. I think what people like about it the most is there's an integrated email system, but what a lot of people don't like about GoToWebinar is there's an integrated email system, meaning that the landing page or the place where you go to sign up for a GoToWebinar isn't really that enticing. There's not too much you can do about it. So a lot of people don't like that. Again, there are some workarounds if you decide to go with GoToWebinar where you can get around that landing page issue. But it does integrate and it does automatically send out emails for you, which is really nice, especially if you don't feel that comfortable with your own email system. But that's another episode, right? Okay. That is a granddaddy. It's definitely one to check out. And I think it's probably going to be pretty much your most expensive option. Okay. There are some other options. There is Evergreen Systems, which kind of runs evergreen webinars more so than anything else. Okay, we had one guest pop up. I'm going to go ahead and make sure to mute her right now because I know she has a question. So, and that's something to know about. If you have a question, you let me know ahead of time. I will bring you in on Tech30 so that we can answer your question live. You can share your screen, and don't worry, I'll walk you through it. And it's just a whole lot of fun. So, Evergreen Business Systems isn't for doing live webinars. It's really for recorded webinars that people can go to later. I think one that had a lot of popularity was Webinar Jam. In fact, they just came out with a new version of Webinar Jam. Now, Webinar Jam is really just like what I call a skin for a Google Hangout, which is what we're on right now. Okay, Google Hangouts are free. But some people say, I want to use something like Webinar Jam or Easy Webinar, or there's a bunch of them that are just skins for a Google Hangout because it's easier. And I personally don't find them any easier than setting up a Google Hangout on your own. There's just maybe a checklist, which of course I have. I've done a whole course on working with Google Hangouts that you need. And you need a checklist kind of similar if you're going to use one of those other programs. So I always say that's totally up to you. Another feature I think that is good with those programs is, again, like GoToWebinar, they have integrated email. So it will integrate with your email system and send out emails automatically for you. Of course, if you're somewhat savvy with your email system, you can set that up for yourself too. So it just becomes a matter of, are you willing to learn a few more things and save a few more bucks or not? Again, totally up to you. Now, I said that I own a couple of systems that would do webinars. So the first one I own is I do own Easy Webinar, and I haven't used it. It's not sad. I haven't used it, so I can't really comment on how hard or how easy it is. But this is the reason that I got it. I can track if someone, and again, it's another tech thing for another episode, but I can track if you've shown up to my webinar or not, right? But I can't track how long you were there. A system like Easy Webinar can track how long someone was at the webinar. Therefore, you can kind of figure out what they heard or didn't hear. Okay, so that can be very important as you're retooling your presentation, or even more important, in the kind of email you send them after the webinar. Okay, especially if it was a sales webinar. So that is probably one reason I would say that might be a good way to go. The other one that I own is called Fuse. Okay, Fuze. And it does live webinars. It allows, kind of like Google Hangouts, up to 10 people to be kind of on the panel, or 10 spots. And it's live, and it also has words dial-in in case someone couldn't get on the computer, but they could get on by phone, which I think is a perk of GoToWebinar as well. I haven't really seen it in any of these other kind of Google skins, so who knows? Someone might come up with an app for that sooner or later. So that's kind of like my little rundown of webinars and whether or not to move from a teleseminar to doing webinars in your business. If you want more information, or just to work more closely to figure out what's going to fit right for you, especially with maybe all the other technology that you're already using to run your business, do not hesitate to reach out to me so I can help you pick what's going to work best for you so that you can get going and really expand and explode your business and touch more people, which I know that's why we're doing this anyway. We're all about impact. All right, so we are 15 minutes in, and I want to make sure to get in answers to questions. So if you're online and you're in the chat part, please start putting your questions in chat if you have questions. But right now, I'm going to go ahead and bring the beautiful Miss Darla on. She had a great question earlier. I told her, you know what? Let's handle that during Tech30. All right, so Darla, I'm going to go ahead and unmute you. I hope I'm unmuting you, honey. Hold on. Let's see. There we go. Just click that. Come on. Oh, maybe you're going to have to unmute yourself, Darla. There you go.
There I am.
Okay, so the camera is now on you.
Oh, great.
Darla is fabulous. She is the bomb when it comes down to really bringing out the essence of your brand visually online. She has a wonderful course called Brand Your Brilliance. And I have enjoyed it immensely. If you use the Wayback Machine, maybe I'll do that one episode. You can see my old design. And it was okay, as Carla would say. And then you can see how I've been rebranded and go, wow. And that is the amazing piece of Miss Darla. Okay, so Darla, this is your time, my dear, your question.
Okay, my question is, first of all, thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. That was very sweet of you. And it's been a pleasure working with you, of course, you know that. So my question is that you, being my tech guru, have taught me so many different things about systems and things like that, and putting all these things in place. And one of the things that you shared with me is Member Mouse. And working with the branding course, I wanted to make sure that everything I put in and all that hard work and content was all protected. So So one of the things I'm working on right now is trying to make sure that all of my bonuses, which of course you're one of them, and I want to make sure that all that's protected as well. And currently it's not. And I don't know exactly how to do that. And I don't know if you can walk me through it, or talk to me about it, or anything.
Okay. All right. So we're going to bounce between each other as we talk here. All right. Okay. So first thing I'm going to ask you is, what level of protection do you want on, are these files or are they videos? I know I'd switch you videos and files, but I don't know what everyone else has for you.
Most people have videos. There are some that have some workbooks, but most of them are videos.
Okay. So what is the concern of protection? Just protecting where people access the content, or protecting how people can download the content?
Well, that's a good question. I guess both, really. I want to make sure that they can access it and that only the members can access it, because, you know, that was part of the whole program, is that they got these great bonuses. And that's what I said to the people who graciously gave me the programs that they were going to be protected and only would be given to the people that are in the group. So only those members should be getting that. So I just want to make sure, although that, you know, they're not easily, it's not like they would, unless they knew the URL, they would find it. But I just want to have that extra layer of protection, and that's one of the reasons why I thought I was getting with MemberMouse. So.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So let me say a couple of things. I'm going to go ahead and put the camera on me for sure. Okay. So there's a couple of things you can do when you're trying to protect content online, especially your hard-earned intellectual content that you put in videos and workbooks and whatnot. So one is, yes, a membership program of some type, which MemberMouse is one. An extra layer of protection on top of that is to put the information somewhere where it can only be downloaded or viewed, so to speak, through your website. And that would be something like Amazon S3. There's a few other sites that will host materials that can do that too. I'm most familiar with Amazon S3. It's probably one of the cheapest ones out there because as much as I've downloaded, I've been charged pennies. So it's just not too bad for downloads and how much it may cost in the end. Now, if you're not so concerned about that, i.e. someone can right click and take a video or whatever and download it on their computer. If that's not a huge concern, then I would just use MemberMouse to do the protection. So tell me kind of what your concern is.
Well, I guess it's hard to tell you without being in it, but it's trying to make sure that I'm protecting that page. Like right now, I already have a page. So I don't know if I need to create a new page and under MemberMouse, that's what I'm trying to figure out.
All right, so we're just going to protect it as that layer under MemberMouse. That's perfectly fine. All right, so let's go ahead and go in. Do you mind sharing your screen and going to a page in your WordPress that has one of the pieces of content on it?
I'm going to use yours. Is that okay?
No, I don't mind.
I'm hoping it's going to come up. Oh, hang on.
Okie dokie.
Sorry.
I got time. I got 30.
We already had it together.
Oh my goodness. Okay, just so that everyone on earth could keep me accountable, I went to aqua aerobics earlier today and plan to be going every single day, Monday through Friday. So if a Tech30 comes around and I don't look a little disheveled, like I have chlorine on me, you know I didn't go, and you have every right to at me and tell me to get back on the regime. So
I'm having a hard time picking this up. Shoot. I don't know together.
I might be able, did you find one?
No, hang on. Let me see this. I had the wrong information in there.
Okay. So just so that everyone else knows, Darla's going through. I'll take the camera off you, Darla, for a minute. She's like, never. Hey, I'm coming to you without makeup and everything, right? So it's not that I didn't want to get dressed up for you, but like I said, aqua aerobics. What Darla's doing, she's going into her WordPress admin back into her website. She has a WordPress site or WordPress powered site. And she's going in there, she's finding the page, one of the pages that has materials on it. And then we're going to go in and we're going to protect it with MemberMouse. So MemberMouse is the membership program that I use. I really enjoy it. And I'll try to put a link eventually under this video about MemberMouse. It'll probably be my affiliate link. But it's nice in that it scales, it grows with you. So as you get more members in your membership program, then the price goes up. But again, it's nothing too terrible anyway. It integrates with several email services. We talked about email integration earlier. It's very important. Okay, so, but MemberMouse protects content. It also does the billing for the content. So if you have someone, it's a one-time offer that they're doing, like they only pay once, or if they're doing a recurring payment, like a monthly payment, it takes care of that stuff too. And it integrates with several payment options. Again, that's a whole other episode to talk about all the payment ways you can get paid online. But if you have an online business, it's something very serious to look into. So
Yeah.
that's kind of what we're doing now. So once they are paid and they're in, they can only see the content that they've paid for. And we protect that content usually through categories, or as you'll see on the, when we get into the back end of our site, that member mouse will say, who are you allowing access to this page for? And pretty much every membership program that I have ever worked with, and it's been several, every page has an option that will say, who's allowed access to this page? And by who, it means like what group of people or what product is allowed access, however you have your stuff bundled up. Okay, so that is for all programs. So you ready, Ms. Darla?
It's loading. Here we go. Finally. Okay.
Right, it's on you. So when you're ready, share your screen.
Okay.
So, and I should say in Darla's defense, she put these pages up or had them available before she ever even installed Member Mouse.
Yes.
Right? Okay, so look at that picture of me.
I know that's your old logo.
See my old logo there? And how terrible it is. Yes, honey. Okay, so Darla really helped me out. Okay, so Darla, if you'll go ahead and scroll back up to the top.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you see there on the top right, it says Member Mouse something. I'm sorry. It's so
templates.
No, on the top right.
Here, yeah. Okay.
No, top right. Your other right.
My other right. Okay.
Yeah.
Go on.
It says access right, grant access. So you click there so we can grant access.
My other right. Got it. Got it.
All right. So you can grant access by membership level or by bundle. And in this case, we want to do it by bundle. So grant access by, use the drop down.
Bundle.
Okay. Now it's going to bring up all your bundles. So your first one, branding your brilliance mastermind. That's it. So you just hit grant access.
Okay.
And you notice there it says grant access on a certain day. So if you're wanting to drip out content to people, like you don't want them to get all the bonuses on day one, you could change that to where they get the bonuses after they've been in, maybe after the refund period. That's when you get access to the bonuses. So let's say your refund period was 30 days. You grant access to the bonuses on day 31. Okay. So that becomes an option as well. So
change that up here.
Yeah, so if you want to change it, go where up there and hit the, I think it looks like a pencil for edit. So here it says grant access on day, and you just put in whatever day there. Okay. So if you want it, 30 days later, 60 days later, whatever it is, you just put in the number of days and hit grant access. And then 5 days later, after they first gotten the bundle, they will get access to it.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, actually, I probably will change that because I have my guarantee. So I'll do that later. Okay.
Yeah.
So is that it?
You know how to do it. Yeah. That's it.
Oh
now update.
Jeez, update. How simple. Sometimes it's just the simplest things. And I'm always amazed that if it's anything tech related, I know I can just come to you and you will know the answer. And if you don't know the answer, you'll figure it out.
Yes, I will.
She will.
And that is a for sure. I will figure it out.
I know.
Right, I'm going to jump over here in just a second. Do you have any other questions right now, Darla?
Not that I can. I gave the screen back to you. So not that that was really it right now. So I've got another question for something separate, but that'll be for another Tech 30.
All right. Sorry. It'll be a whole other Tech 30.
Yeah.
But for this episode, we are wrapping up. Thank you so much for joining us. And again, if you have any technology questions, be sure to send them in. If you want to be here on the panel and get your question answered live and have some guidance or something, definitely be sure to hit me up ahead of time so I can get you the information on how to get in on the back end of this Google Hangout. So until next Thursday at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time in the U.S., I will see you then. Ciao, peace, joy, love.